impact in the game.
It's back to formality for the UEFA Champions League as we have reached the last 16. And guess what? Arsenal have another tough task. Now they take on Bayern Munich. The first leg is live at the Allianz Arena. The Champions League returns to a form of familiarity now. We're in the last 16, it's 2 legs, it's away goals, it's much more like it. And today, Arsenal have got another tough European night up against Bayern Munich, champions-elect of Germany, here at the Allianz Arena. I don't think it's official this year, as that might be in the other football game. We can still call it. And today, it's another tough European for Arsenal. But I, for one, think that Bayern Munich and this star-studded lineup might just be too much for them. They're coming up against an old nemesis in Harry Kane, who starts up front. It's Minigan in goal, preferred to Manuel Neuer. Musala and Sane, and there he is, Harry Kane. He's sitting on a yellow card, and so he's going to have to be careful to not rack up too many of those and get a suspension. And, well, Harry Kane was certainly the stuff of nightmares when it came to Arsenal, when he played for Spurs. Now he could have a chance to do it all again. This is an away night, so, for Arsenal, so, the away goal's in effect. So I'm sure Mikel Arteta has probably told his side, just stay with them as close as possible, and maybe we'll have a chance at the Emirates. It certainly wouldn't be a bad result tonight to be somewhere near them. Even a tight loss wouldn't go amiss. Alexander Isak, Bukayo Saka and Leo Trossard are the front three. Isak trying to score a goal after 3 without one now. Batinos with Declan Rice. Martin Odegaard jumps to the bench after the FA Cup 120 minutes that he played in that matchup in particular. Saliba is back in. I think Gabriel is too. But even with the star-studded back four that Arsenal have, keeping Harry Kane out is going to be almost impossible. Well, here we go. Arsenal, a tight loss would certainly go amiss here. Even if it's mounted with goals, it probably wouldn't matter. The away goals count for, I think, an added goal. So if, say, Arsenal were to score 3 and Bayern Munich 0, it would have to be 3 at the Emirates, really. But Arsenal will be home, so it is going to be a tough one. If Bayern were to score 3 and Arsenal were to score 3 here, then they would be ahead on the away goal rule if it ended 0-0 at the Emirates. It's kind of something like that. It was always a really confusing rule for me to understand growing up. I don't think I've really fully understood it now, to be honest. That's kind of the simple explanation I can give. It's up to Saka. And Arsenal coming forward already. And Minigan is in goal tonight, as opposed to Manuel Neuer. I believe he's still playing. I don't think we've heard he's retired. I think we would if we did. I think it was it Wojciech Szczesny I saw on the bench. So maybe Manuel Neuer has retired, or maybe he's just injured. We don't really know. But even without him, this Bayern Munich team is still stacked. Kimmich, Upamecano, Harry Kane, Guerrero, who formerly played for Borussia Dortmund, I believe, Kingsley Coman, Leroy Sané. That's just a few of the names. This Bayern Munich team is going to be tough for Arsenal tonight, isn't it? And already Bayern come forward. Harry Kane. Oh, it didn't take very long at all. Harry Kane, because of course, 1-0 to Bayern Munich. No real surprises there, I'm afraid. A lot of the neutrals could be rooting for Arsenal, but it could all prove to be in vain. Bayern Munich are champions elect in Germany for a reason, even with the rise of Bayer Leverkusen over the last few years under Xabi Alonso, but they're Bayern Munich for a reason. Harry Kane, well, it's only his third goal in the competition this season, but it's against an old rival of his. I don't think we'd really expected anything less. Bayern Munich 8 minutes in, already in by a goal to nil. But if Arsenal were to score here, the away goals would affect them in a positive sense. If they were to hold them to a goalless draw at the Emirates, they would progress. Here's Bukayo Saka, straight off the kickoff, the EAFC kickoff cheese, but Mikel Arteta will not care, and neither will Bukayo Saka. It's an instant response. Instant response. And now, Arsenal in a favourable position here. The away goal rule means that Arsenal would progress if it ended 0-0 at the Emirates Stadium. And just like that, Arsenal back in a real good driver's seat now. This would be perfect for them, or at least give them the perfect platform to work on in the reverse tie. That's Saka's 5th goal this season in the Champions League. And well, it's usually either him or Isak, but it's more being him over Isak at the moment, because Isak hasn't scored in his last 2 or 3 now. There's Musala, tackled by Gabriel. Harry Kane comes up with it. Good save by David Raya. And Tomiyasu only cleared as far as Guerrero here. Good tackle by Saliba, but they keep the ball by Munich and offside. And that could have been a certain goal. Gabriel, well, it was Saliba rather, I think, came up with it. Good tackle, but he was a bit slow and indecisive. Then Bayern came forward, but Ryan made a good save, but the ball went through him, and it would have ended up being a goal, but for the offside flag. And Kim Min-jae as well, that's another one. Just a stacked Bayern Munich team. And Arsenal, we still are a bit 50-50 on whether they could hang with the top teams in Europe or not. They did win against the odds against the likes of Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, but in Real Madrid they went the distance in a loss ultimately. And if they can do that again here, I think that'll answer some questions. He's up to Fabio Vieira. Probably should have done better. Cannot waste those kind of chances against the giants that are Bayern Munich. Here's Guerrero. Well, they certainly would have had Arsenal scoring immediately after them in the script. That's just the real toughness and grit of this Arsenal side. They play for 90 minutes every single time. Here is Isak. And he crashes into Minigan, but it's offside against Isak anyway. Well, Bayern Munich probably would have been fearing this tie a few weeks ago. And Alexander Isak scoring for fun, but in the last 3, Isak has scored 0 in a very rare event. He finds Kane and now Musala. Here's Guerrero. Kane. Kane again. Saved by Raya this time. And the last shot he gets tonight. Leroy Sané almost getting the ball off Tierney there, but it's going to go off for a goal kick. Well, he knows it's going to be tough tonight, Arteta. But if they can stay within at least a goal of Bayern Munich, they'll have a chance at the Emirates. if it's a draw, and on aggregate, of course, they would, if they were one, they would need to score at the Emirates, but they'd only need to score one, and that would send them through. Trossard, oh, it's a good-looking ball, but it was too close to the keeper, sadly. It looked good when it left his foot. Trossard, since that 7-goal explosion at the Young Boys, has scored 0 in the Champions League. He might have got one earlier. It's been all about Isak and Saka in this competition. Here's Kane and here's Sané. Good save, Riot. Well read. Offside against Sané anyway. Bayern Munich's relentless pressure. That's probably what you have to do against Arsenal. Pressure them relentlessly. It seems to work for some other teams. It was probably ultimately Chelsea's downfall in a sense. Even though Unai Simon did brilliantly, Chelsea really didn't look like scoring more than one. Here is Sané. Alfina. And Sané tripped over his own shoe. Kingsley Coman's another one. His name's in this Bayern Munich team. It's scary. There to Coman. And the ball is rolling through, and Saliba just about clearing it away. Charlie Patino, big night for him tonight. Oh, he's picked out Trossard brilliantly there. A brilliant move here by Arsenal. He's waiting for support. He uses his own, he takes the shot himself. Here comes Saka. Cutting in, and a good save, Minigan. Well, he might be just standing for Manuel Neuer, but is he Bayern Munich's future? Could be. Life after Manuel Neuer, you would have never really thought about it a few years ago. But Father Time does catch up eventually. You can prolong it, but you can never stop it. It probably will catch up with him at some point. And it'll be sad to see a legend of the game in every metric and sense. And what he could have done for that Manchester United side right now. He was one of Manchester United's targets under Sir Alex Ferguson. It never happened. I mean, it didn't really change his trajectory that much, but my goodness, it just would have risen in notches. But he stayed loyal to Bayern Munich. And he had a startling career. Either way, his career was startling. Anyway, I don't think he's retired yet. I think we would have known about it by now. But certainly we get a peek into the future with the man in goal tonight, and he's done really well so far. Still starting to string together some passes. Guerrero cuts that one out though. Why do you think that Kingsley Coman was an Arsenal youngster once? Somewhere around there, wasn't he? It's a name that rings a bell to me. Obviously most known for his time at Bayern Munich, but still. Sure, he was a young boy at Arsenal one time. Fabio Vieira. Saka is to his right. He chooses to shoot. Minigan saves again. Well, don't want to put a commentator's curse on them right now, so I probably won't say anything for a moment. It's Harry Kane on the ball for Bayern Munich. And I will say it now. Arsenal have done very well in this first half to keep it at 1-0. Vieira, he got fouled, but advantage was gained. Very much so. Yeah, great back heel. Finds Alexander Isak, and Minigan saves again. And I don't know what it is with the opposing keepers for this Arsenal side, but right now they face two very tough tests in Unai Simon and now Minigan in the Bayern Munich goal. had more of a win probability at the moment. Coleman is going to be fouled by Tomiyasu, and he didn't pick up the ball because he knows what's coming. Will he get booked for that? It was good play by Tomiyasu. Didn't want to give away the free kick. He ran a risk by giving Bayern Munich the ball, but it did work out in the end. Lamier. Here's Kane. And here's Coleman. And Coleman has gone all the way through. And Kane dispossesses, and Coleman comes up with it. It's a goal. And Tomiyasu's indecisiveness cost him there. And it's a goal for Munich. Arsenal just could not get it away there. Coleman was going through everyone. Tomiyasu made up a brick wall, but then Kane immediately latched onto him, dispossessed him, and the rest was left to Kingsley Coman to slot it in. And that's what he did. And Bayern Munich restored their lead. So it probably ended up being a unintentional commentator's curse there, because like we said, Arsenal were doing very well up to that point. But it's not all doom and gloom. This is not a bad result. Remember the away goal rule, of course. All the way to Musala. Oh, wonderfully done by Kane, but ended up picking Musala out instead. But here is Harry Kane again. It's wide as we enter the 2 minutes of added on time. I don't think Tomiyasu got booked for that challenge he did earlier. Kane, Amir. And that's the end of a very competitive first half here at the Allianz Arena. Bayern Munich are up by 2-1. Arsenal have given them a game, which is exactly what Mikel Arteta would have wanted. And right now, it's not all doom and gloom for Arsenal. They do have a goal, but an equaliser certainly wouldn't go amiss. 2-1 to Munich at the break. Welcome back to the Allianz Arena. It may not be called that in the game, but that's what it usually should be. Because I don't think it's licensed in the AFC this year. I think that's with the other one. But here today, Bayern Munich are up by 2-1 in this Champions League last 16 tie. It's over 2 legs. The away goals are always in effect. So for Arsenal, it's not all bad. They still need to keep in touch. But this Bayern Munich team, as we said before, is completely stacked. And can blow away anyone at a moment's notice, like Coleman is doing here. Right, does gather up the shot though. There's Coleman again. And no one is there to meet the cross. Well, these fans, they love their team. And the thing about German clubs, the fans love their teams here. It's a wonderful footballing place, Germany. It's fans that love their teams. They will go on your back if you don't perform well, but you get a lot of love and leeway, a lot more than you would do at, say, Real Madrid. Yeah, they love their teams and they love their national team even more. A definite show of unity, not just in football terms either, in a lot of out of football matters. Very wonderful people. It's a wonderful footballing place. Cobbett. Interception there by Declan Rice. Meccano star-studded defender, but he gave away a free kick there. Or decides to keep it short and keep the ball. Rice just lost it for a moment. It's almost like he tripped over his own feet. Well, next for Arsenal, the Premier League matter returns, and they'll be at Old Trafford to face my old team, Manchester United. It'll be quite the emotional return, I can tell you that. Good save from Darabaya again from Harry Kane. Tomiyasu almost making a costly error there. He kind of made one earlier. Neymar. Alvina tackled by Vieira. Trossard has a run ahead. Leandro Trossard cuts inside. It's a good goal. Trossard equalises. And again, that puts Arsenal back in the driver's seat again. Another away goal. The more the better. Well, that's Trossard's first goal since his 7-goal explosion at the Young Boys, I believe. And where was the defending for Munich here? Leo Trossard. Excellent goal. It puts Arsenal back in a tennis, what they would call advantage. But I don't think you can count Bayern Munich out for the win here. Not by a long chalk. Here they come again. Here's Kane. Uzala. Kingsley Coman. Oh. Well, if he wasn't a young Arsenal player, Kingsley Coman, I think he was an Arsenal target at one point. I think his name definitely came up somewhere in Arsenal lines of memory. I could be completely wrong about that, though. In fact, I probably am, to be fair. But this is the real business end of the Champions League as a competition now. Every goal counts, every performance matters. Arsenal have never won the Champions League, or at least at a time I can remember. The one I do remember was, I think, the final in 2005 against Barcelona. And that's a foul in Meccano against Trossard. Now, will he go into the book for this? And that could be not good for Bayern Munich if they have to deal with that. Oh, it's a red card. Meccano is actually sent off. And man advantage once again to Arsenal. Still won't count Bayern Munich out of the slow, but that certainly leaves a gap. Well, what a surprise. Well, we saw a challenge in the last coverage we made at the Women's Super League of a challenge very similar to that in the box that was actually given as a penalty and a yellow card. Well, here's Bukayo Saka standing over the ball. Oh, we're not going to shoot. Well, it puts Arsenal with further advantage now, because that means Meccano will be suspended for the return leg as well. Mr. Leroy Sané. Now Musala. Kimmich. Here's Kane, or Kane's incoming, but Saliba gets there first. Now it's Kingsley Coman with the corner in towards Kane. Raya punches it out, and Bayern Munich put it back in. And now here's Sané. Good goal. Very good goal by Munich, to be fair. That's just the quality of this team. And I think it was Valfina that did a flying back heel pass back towards the box. And then another back heel to Sane. But these players had eyes in the back of their head. It's a wonderfully worked goal, to be fair. Only they'll know whether it was intentional or not. And Arsenal behind again, but my goodness, they're putting up a fight at least. 3-2. Who knows what score could this end up as? Arsenal come back again. I'm not sure what the substitution was. We'll hopefully get in a second. That's Sane's first Champions League goal of the season, believe it or not. Boe came on for Guerrero. That was the substitution. Zala to Kane. And they immediately close him down. Saliba's running quite the distance here, and he's found Saka as well. And chooses not to use Isak. Not that we can blame him. I don't think Isak will blame him either. Make it again with a good save. He's not kept them out wholeheartedly, but he's kept the most important ones out because Arsenal have already given them a game so far this evening. Saw in the rim possibility there, it's a complete 180 swing now. So Salah. Nice, dispossessed by Leroy Sané. Puts it wide. Vieira. And it's tackled by Bukayo Saka. Oh, another good-looking ball. Didn't really amount to much though. Trossard puts the ball in low towards. I think that was Fabio Vieira in there. What a game this has been. Got to credit Arsenal. They came out fighting tonight. Kane, oh, it's a screamer, and it's vintage Harry Kane. 4-2, and that makes the return leg a little bit more difficult. A shot by Harry Kane. No way. Oh, Raya, he's unlucky. Just falling short. The power and the precision by Harry Kane made the difference. Even in a Bayern Munich shirt, Harry Kane still manages to torment Arsenal and their fans. Big substitution group for Mikel Arteta. Kai Havertz has come on again, this time for Fabio Vieira. Martin Odegaard has also come on for Patino. Nelson has come on for Trossard. Alexander Isak stays on, and that, oh, I was almost going to say that's why, because he scored, but again, Isak is struggling in front of goal all of a sudden. Mannigan could count himself lucky there. On another day, Isak would have buried it. These days, you can't buy a goal, which is really unfortunate. But that's the difference this season. Arsenal have a lot of players you can score in reserve if Isak does have an off period. But it's getting less and less at the moment, and today it's counting for absolute naught because Bayern Munich are winning by 4-2. And that does make the return leg a bit more difficult for Arsenal. There's Nelson. He tried to put it in towards Isak. It was too close to the keeper. Ray. Salah. Salah and Kane linking up well here. Salah again. Coleman. No foul against Tomiyasu that time. Here's Havertz. Oh, can Havertz save Arsenal again? Here comes Saka. He might do it, but there's going to be a goal kick, I think. Goretzka coming on for Kim Min-jae, I think. Kim Min-jae was a big target amongst many top clubs before his time at Napoli was over. Bayern Munich, the ones that landed him, and have benefited ever since. And Arsenal get a free kick. Arsenal trying to pass it around. Nelson. Saka. He's going to try and pick out Isak. He's going to have to go alone now, and he got dispossessed. Bayern Munich defending really well. Well, it's not impossible from here for the second leg for Arsenal, or it might actually get a bit more impossible. Raya saves from Musala, but right now it's not impossible. It's difficult. But if Arsenal do manage to find their shooting form again, could get back into this tie rather comfortably. Sane puts that wide. And Ganabi is a former Arsenal player, I believe. And he's coming on for Kingsley Coman for the final few moments of this game. Ganabi, when he was at Arsenal, he was facing a lot of stiff competition to get into the team. He was eventually offloaded to Bayern Munich, and well, he prospered ever since. But it wasn't the fact that he was there at Arsenal, it was just a lot of very good players were ahead of him at the time. As so often happens, it happened with Pogba at Manchester United. Both went elsewhere and prospered because of it. It's not that they wouldn't have made it at their other clubs, it's just for Manchester United and for Arsenal in particular, back in the day, longevity was a thing. And Manchester United had an abundance with Giggs and Scholes, of course. Havertz. And will it be Kai Havertz to kind of save the day for Arsenal again? He picks out Isak, and finally Isak scores a goal. And that'll be a load off his back. And it puts Arsenal within touching distance for the reverse leg. They're still going to lose tonight, but at least it makes the second leg at least doable from here. 1 goal behind and 3 away goals. They would only need to win by a goal to nil to be through on the away goal rule. That's not an impossible feat from here. Not for Arsenal. They have certainly given themselves a chance in the return leg now. It's going to be down as a loss. They're only their 3rd of the year overall. But it's not an impossible situation. And Bayern Munich will go to the Emirates with a 4-3 aggregate score and a 1-goal lead, essentially. But the away goal rule means that if Arsenal win by goal to nil, they would progress on the away goal rule. And that's not impossible from here. But that man, Harry Kane, probably might have a say in the matter. But Bayern Munich will be without Upamecano. I'm not sure how much that'll actually count for, but that makes the return leg very interesting. Munich 4, Arsenal 3. check out the other scores from the week's matches. It's 4-3 between Madrid and Atlanta though as well. Don't forget, Madrid beat them by 4-0 in the Super Cup. Inter Milan are 1 goal down against Borussia Dortmund and 2-1 to Juventus in their tie against Leverkusen. We've got a couple of interesting ones coming up. Atletico Madrid and Celtic. Good effort from Celtic to get the away goal 1-1. Paris Saint-Germain 4, PSV 1. And looks pretty much over for PSV. Milan and Liverpool finally poised at 1-0. And RB Leipzig 3, Ginola 0. And it could be all over there already.